I still remember exactly where I was when I first saw this video of Eliza Fletcher being abducted. She was out on her usual morning run in one of her favorite places, yet she never made it back home. After she was reported missing, this video footage surfaced showing her being approached by an unknown man, grabbed off the street, and then thrown into the back of his car. This is the disturbing murder of Eliza Fletcher, and it's stories like these that make me realize life is never permanent, and it can be taken from us in the blink of an eye. So let's talk about it. This is Eliza Fletcher. She was only 34 years old when she suddenly went missing while out on a morning run in 2022. Eliza was described as one of the kindest people you would ever meet, and she literally always saw the good in everyone. She was a kindergarten teacher in Memphis, Tennessee, an amazing mom to 2 little kids, and she was married to her best friend. Eliza was also a great role model, and one of her favorite things to do was run. She was an avid runner, and every single morning she would get up out of bed before the sun even rose to go on her usual morning run. And one of her favorite areas to run was near the University of Memphis. So in the early morning hours of September 2nd, 2022, that's exactly what she set out to do. She kissed her husband goodbye and took off for what should have been just another typical morning doing something she loved. But Eliza never made it home. She was supposed to be back home by 7 that morning, just like every other day. But when the clock struck 7:45 and she still wasn't back yet, her husband became really worried. It wasn't like her to not only be late like this, but also to not answer any of her husband's calls. So he immediately reported her missing to the police. But unfortunately, this is where the story takes a disturbing turn. Police started this investigation by thoroughly searching the area where she was last known to be running, near the University of Memphis. Eliza wasn't there, but what immediately stood out to investigators was a broken cell phone and a water bottle laying on the side of the road. This is when police started combing through all of the security footage from the university and other businesses and houses nearby, and they found something very startling. The footage shows Eliza running in the same area she always does, but then it shows her being approached by an unknown man. After a very clear altercation, the video shows this man grabbing Eliza off the street and then forcing her into the back of his dark-colored SUV. So this proved right away what police were dealing with. Eliza didn't just lose track of time. She was abducted, and no one knew it, but this was the very last time that she would ever be seen alive. So with the news of this video footage, Eliza's family put out a $50,000 reward for information leading to her whereabouts, and they were really hoping that she would be brought home safe. But just one day later, police made an announcement that they had arrested this man in connection to her disappearance. This is Cleotha Abston. He was 37 years old at the time this case was happening, and he has a very long criminal history dating back to the 1990s when he was just a kid. Police made the arrest after they traced his car, which turned out to be a dark-colored GMC Terrain to his house. I'll go more into his criminal history later, but Cleotha had only been a free man since 2020. He had spent the previous 20 years in prison after he kidnapped a prominent Memphis attorney at gunpoint in 2001. So this seemed like police were headed in the right direction, but Eliza was still missing, even though the suspect was in custody. This sparked a massive search for her, which involved police, tracking dogs, ATVs, and even helicopters. But nobody could find her, and as the days passed, the reality of what could have happened to her became more and more grim. Then, 3 days later, on September 5th, 2022, authorities were searching a South Memphis neighborhood when they noticed some out-of-place tire marks near an abandoned duplex. As they got closer to the building, they noticed a horrible smell of decay and decomposition, and sadly, just behind the building, they located Eliza's body. She had a gunshot wound to the back of her head, and she also had injuries to her right leg and a fractured jaw. Laying nearby was a trash bag containing the purple Lululemon running shorts Eliza was last known to be wearing. Police also found a pair of sandals nearby that confirmed what pretty much everyone already knew. The DNA found on the sandals belonged to Cleotha, and he was responsible for Eliza's abduction and murder. After reviewing security footage nearby, police were able to confirm that Cleotha and his car were in the area near the vacant duplex at 5:48 the morning Eliza disappeared. So not only did they have DNA and physical evidence linking him to the crime, they also had footage placing him at the crime scene. What's so scary to me is that with the timing of this, Eliza was likely killed only minutes after being abducted that morning. Police also found this eerie footage that shows Cleotha cleaning his car for 2 entire hours after killing Eliza. So needless to say, Cleotha was quickly arrested, and he was charged with first-degree murder and aggravated kidnapping. He was then sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole, which he showed no remorse over. But what's crazy is what came to light while he was being held for Eliza's murder. So like I mentioned earlier, Cleotha had a lengthy criminal history that dated back to when he was was just a kid. But in 2001, when he was 16 years old, he and an accomplice kidnapped a prominent Memphis attorney and tried to rob him. The attorney got super lucky when someone walked by, and this let him scream for help, and he was able to escape. But he really thought that if nobody had walked by like that, Cleotha was going to kill him. So for that crime, Cleotha was sentenced to 24 years in prison at just 16 years old. Fast forward to 2020. At this point, authorities said that he had already served 85% of his sentence, and they felt like that was good enough, so they released him back into society. He was released 4 years early, and guess what? Within 1 year, he would go on to brutally assault a woman who was 4 months pregnant. This was just 1 year before he killed Eliza. So in September of 2021, a woman met Cleotha on a dating app. At this time, she was 4 months pregnant, and she and Cleotha really seemed to hit it off. The plan was to meet up for a date at Cleotha's apartment so that he could cook her dinner. But when the woman arrived, the address he gave turned out to be an abandoned building. He then held her at gunpoint where he brutally SA'd her. The woman was able to escape, where she then immediately went to a hospital and a crisis center for SA. She had a rape kit done, which was then sent off to a state crime lab in Jackson, Tennessee. I mean, this woman did everything right in the wake of a horrific experience. Yet for some reason, nothing would be done about it. Police had Cleotha's name, his dating app profile, and even the rape kit DNA sample, so they should have been able to easily find him given his past 20 years in prison. But they chose not to act. They didn't do a damn thing. And the worst part, if it can get any worse, they didn't actually process the rape kit until September 5th, 2022, which is the day they found Eliza's body. They spin this as just a long delay in processing the SA kit, but this is completely unacceptable. Had they processed this in a timely manner, or even bothered to look into Cleotha when he was reported for SA in 2021, Eliza would still be alive. Had he served his full sentence for that 2001 kidnapping, again, Eliza would still be alive. She and Cleotha's first victim were failed by so many departments. It's horrible. So this news outraged not only Eliza's family, but even the entire community. Which, I mean, can you blame them? If they had done their jobs, Cleotha would have been off the streets immediately. He wouldn't have gotten the chance to hurt anyone else. After Eliza's death, the legislature passed a law requiring the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation to issue a quarterly report on SA kit testing times, which I guess I'm thankful for because this is a huge deal and needs to be done promptly. But it's just sad that it had to take losing Eliza to make this change. It was a huge problem in Memphis that her death shed light into. The Tennessee governor even had to step in, and he ended up hiring 50 new lab techs, forensic scientists, and other staff to help with the huge backlog of SA kits. Eliza's murder didn't just destroy her family, it shook the entire community. Her students at school, her fellow teachers, and strangers like me who never even met Eliza, but who now will always remember her. My heart just breaks for her husband and 2 little babies who now have to live the rest of their lives without her. Every year on the anniversary of her death, an early morning running event is scheduled called Let's Finish Liza's Run, where runners follow the route Eliza took and her final steps. Eliza was a good person, and she didn't deserve what happened to her, much like all of the other women who were abducted and killed while just trying to do something they loved. Run.
Hey girls, it's Miss Fletcher. So before we go, I wanted to remind you of something that we do at St. Mary's that's so special and that I miss a lot. So I want to see if you can join in with me. We're going to sing This Little Light of Mine. Okay? Ready? This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Hide it under a bushel, no, I'm gonna let it shine. Hide it under a bushel, no, I'm gonna let it shine. And I miss all of you girls so much. Bye.